4,500 years ago, workers set a 2.5-ton stone block every 2 minutes for 20 years straight. Do that math and something feels wrong. No cranes, no engines, yet the answer was hiding inside the pyramid all along. This is the Great Pyramid of Giza. 2.3 million blocks, 5 million tons, 481 feet tall. The average block weighs as much as a family car. The granite beams above the king's chamber weigh up to 60 tons. They raised it for the pharaoh Khufu with copper tools, wooden sleds, rope, and a workforce we completely misunderstood for centuries. The popular story says 100,000 slaves dragged stones under the whip. Archaeology has now dismantled that image, piece by piece. Scholars today estimate 20,000 to 30,000 workers built it, a fraction of the legend, moving 5 million tons anyway. So the real question is not who suffered here, it is how so few people moved so much stone so fast. Answering it takes us to a buried city, a 4,500-year-old diary, and a hidden machine. Start with the buried city south of the Sphinx, because before anyone raises a mountain of stone, somebody has to feed one. A few hundred yards south of the Sphinx stands a limestone wall 200 meters long and 10 meters high. Locals call it Hayt el Ghurab, the Wall of the Crow. Behind it, archaeologists found an entire lost city of pyramid builders. Excavator Mark Lena uncovered 7 hectares of barracks, bakeries and paved streets with drains, galleries stretching 170 meters long. Each barrack block could sleep 1,600 to 2,000 men, rotating in seasonal shifts while a skeleton crew stayed year-round. The bakeries worked at industrial scale, baking dense barley and emmer bread in heavy conical pots called beja by the hundreds. And here is the surprise. These workers ate better than most villages in Egypt. Regular beef, mutton, even hunted game. Feeding them took an estimated herd of nearly 22,000 cattle and 55,000 sheep, grazing hundreds of square miles. Nobody runs that operation for slaves. The generous diet was likely an incentive, drawing skilled workers to the king's project. They were organized like an army. Crews of 2,000, split into gangs of 1,000, files of 200, divisions of 20. Graves found just south of the pyramid hold workers, buried with honor, one day off in 10, and a tomb beside their kings. Housing solved, a bigger problem remains. The finest white limestone came from Tura on the opposite bank of the Nile. The answer surfaced in a cave at Wadi el Jarf, an ancient Red Sea port, written on 4,500-year-old papyrus. It is the logbook of a man named Mera, an overseer of elite workers, dated to year 27 of Khufu's reign. Day by day, in 2 neat columns, Mera records his crew hauling white Tura limestone for the pyramid's gleaming outer casing. His route was not a road. His teams loaded the blocks onto wooden boats and sailed them down the Nile. Mera describes canals running the stone almost to the foot of the pyramid, a journey of 2 to 3 days. For years there was one problem with the diary. Nobody could find those canals anywhere on the Giza plateau. Then Lena's team outlined a buried central canal basin beneath the plateau, the primary delivery dock at the pyramid's feet. A ceremonial boat unearthed nearby completed the picture. 170,000 tons of limestone floated, not dragged, across the water. The river solved the horizontal problem. But boats cannot sail uphill. and the pyramid rises 481 feet. Every schoolbook answer is a ramp, and ramps are real. Rubble and mud remnants survive on the pyramid's southwestern side. Zahi Hawass traced one ramp to a quarry only 300 meters away, an efficient pipeline for the core blocks. Turns hostile as the pyramid climbs. A sled ramp needs a gentle slope, roughly 10% or less. Reaching the summit at that grade would demand a ramp up to 1.5 kilometers long, a monument in itself. In 2018, a discovery at Hatnub, an ancient alabaster quarry in Egypt's eastern desert, changed the entire debate. Cut into the rock, a central ramp flanked by 2 staircases studded with post holes for heavy wooden anchor posts. Crews ran ropes from their sleds around those posts and pulled, hauling blocks up slopes steeper than 20%. Khufu's own inscriptions mark the site. The system existed in his reign, and nothing like it has been found anywhere else. Steep ramps double the possibilities for the lower courses, yet near the top, even they run out of room. Which leaves the strangest idea of all, that the pyramid's famous inner chambers are not chambers at all, but machinery. In 2025, researcher S.A. Schuring published a new model in a Nature Portfolio Heritage Science journal. They were never ceremonial walkways. They were internal sliding ramps for counterweights. Picture a massive weight on a sled, sliding down the Grand Gallery's steep floor, roped through a station above. As the counterweight fell, its force hoisted stone blocks upward elsewhere in the pyramid, gravity lifting stone against gravity. The small granite antechamber before the king's chamber, long explained as a security feature, becomes a pulley-like lifting station. The evidence had been hiding in plain sight for centuries. Scratches and grooves scored along the Grand Gallery's side walls. Schuring reads those marks as mechanical stress from sliding loads, not foot traffic, not ritual, but a working machine. His calculations suggest astonishing speed, blocks positioned as fast as 1 every minute, 60-ton granite beams raised hundreds of feet. Remember the opening riddle, 1 block every 2 minutes for 20 years? An internal machine makes that math suddenly believable. It is still a hypothesis, but it explains the passages, the scratches, the speed, using nothing but rope, wood, and gravity. And the pyramid is not done giving up secrets. In 2017, physicists aimed particle detectors at it. The Scan Pyramids project used muon imaging, 3 independent systems, and found a hidden cavity 30 meters long, the Big Void. For years, nobody knew what it was. Some hoped for a hidden chamber, a second gallery, even Khufu's true tomb. Recently, investigators slipped a snake camera inside the void. The first footage shows ordinary quarry marks, construction traces, nothing supernatural. Which may be the most fitting answer of all. Even its mysteries turn out to be fingerprints of the builders. Step back and the true wonder is not stone, it is logistics. A bakery, a fleet, a payroll, a machine, 20,000 well-fed workers, a river turned into a conveyor belt, ramps below, and perhaps counterweights hidden within. No aliens, no lost technology, just 4,500 years of underestimating what organized human beings can do. The pyramid was never really a mystery of engineering, it was a mystery of management. And we finally read the ledger. Next time, the aqueducts of Rome. How an empire moved a river through mountains using nothing but a slope.